Hello, welcome to this online video which is designed to provide help, support and guidance for students undertaking study of CILEx, the Chartered Institute of Legal Executives, Level 6, Unit 22, Client Care. I'm the legaliser, hoping that this video is going to guide you and help you to equalise your legal knowledge and understanding required for the client care assessment. I'm not providing answers because that would be cheating, but what I will provide is guidance and advice for each task of the assessment, drawing on my many years of teaching CILEx and client care in particular at various CILEx approved centres and assessing for CILEx and client care for the aforementioned centres and also for CILEx Law School. It's a great deal of teaching and assessing experience that will help you here, and hopefully you'll find this video supportive. With that said, let's get on. You'll have seen, read and also digested the candidate materials for client care from CILEx. We're going to focus in this video on Task 1, the attendance note. Now, my first bit of advice is to listen to the audio, that is the audio of the call between Gina and Daniel, a few times, at least 3 times. Listen to it once for the attendance note, and then listen to it again for the Task 2 letter, and then listen to it a 3rd time for the evaluation of the negotiation for Task 3. The audio, as you know, is an audio of a phone call, a telephone negotiation between Gina Blair and Daniel Trent. And it's that call that you're listening to gather the information that's required for the attendance note. But the thing to remember is that the attendance note needs to be a summary of the issues within the call. It should not be a summary of the call or a chronological summary of the call. So what you're looking to do is summarise the issues of the call. So there's various issues and they need to be summarised in a logical format. What you're not doing is saying what happened throughout the call, then the next thing that happened, then the next thing, then the next thing. What you're also not doing is writing a script. This needs to be avoided in particular, as CILEx do not like it. So try to avoid writing what happened chronologically, but instead group the issues and summarise these. Don't write a script, and remember that the key skill that's being assessed here is your ability to effectively summarise information, because the issues are spread throughout the call and the issues are best dealt with in a grouped fashion. And if you can summarise that, then you're already on your way to achieving in this particular assessment. Now you do have to use the CILEx provided template. Not doing so is an automatic fail of the task, irrespective of how strong the content is and how accurate the content is. If it is not on the correct template, it is a fail. In addition, the template needs to be used unmolested. That is, you mustn't make any alterations to the template. You also have to use the correct template. If you use the wrong template, then you will fail. So please do not make the mistake of using the mock assessment template for this assessed task, because the mock assessment template is set out quite differently. So make sure you use the provided template in Microsoft Word and try to avoid altering it. Your attendance note needs to be dated, A date of day and month is provided in the assessment brief, and the year should be your current year of assessment. But it is important that the year is consistent between tasks 1, 2 and 4. An inconsistency in your dating of the year can lead to your client care being failed. It's not uncommon to see students complete these tasks but at different points in the academic year, and the year change, and then suddenly the tasks become inconsistent. So please do get your year correct and make sure it's correct and consistent on all of the tasks that require a date and year. It's also essential to get the character names accurate for everyone, and it's also important that you spell the names correctly as well as know who they actually are. You need to know the preferred names of the clients, and you need to use those preferred names. Not necessarily their Sunday names. That's the name that they might be known by officially or to their family members. So for example, if you knew somebody called Anthony Smith, who is known as Tony to his friends and work colleagues during the week, and that is the name that he goes by, then Tony is the name that you should use. When full names are provided, that is a first and a surname, you can then put together suitable initials. The problem is where you have characters of similar names. Characters with similar names mean similar initials. But this is where your Sunday names can help, where characters have similar initials. So Tony Smith would not be known as TS if there was also a Tina Soames. Instead, you could abbreviate Tony Smith to AS because he is known as Anthony, and that would allow you to still use TS for Tina and do so without confusion. I will stress that these are examples. These are not consistent with the assessment itself, but are examples and should be treated as such and applied in a similar fashion when you do the assessed task. So remember to get the names accurate, get them correct, know who the characters are, remember that the name they wish to be known by, and remember that those Sunday names, those full and official names, could still be helpful if you need to use abbreviations. It's important to avoid irrelevance. Irrelevance needs to be avoided at all costs. As the call covers 3 tasks, you need to consider what information is important and relevant to include in the attendance note and the client care letter, and distinguish this from certain detail which is relevant to the later task 3 negotiation evaluation. So consider carefully what needs to be included in this official work document. Often inclusion of irrelevancy results in the exclusion of relevancy, in my experience, and this can cost you credit. So make sure you pick the important and relevant information and put that in your attendance note. There's a great deal of irrelevant information, things that happen in the call, things that are said that are not relevant to the attendance note and not relevant to the letter either. The task is marked for presentation. So it is essential that you get your spelling, punctuation, grammar correct and accurate. I would encourage you to use the spell check function in your word processing program, but also to proofread and to catch any errors that the spell check won't catch, especially for words that can be misspelled but still spell an existing word. For example, I read a lot of people who say that they have the right to a fair trail. A simple typing error that can be caught with simple proofreading. I also recommend audio reading, that is, reading your work aloud to spot errors in sentence construction and understanding. In addition to SPAG, you also need to check other aspects of your presentation born out of the formatting. Things like consistency of font, font size, font colour, believe it or not, but also your line spacing needs to be consistent as well, and the general presentation of the work. CILEx take this particular aspect quite seriously, and so if you have errors in your presentation and formatting, as well as spelling, punctuation or grammatical errors, these can count against you in a similar fashion to your driving test, where you can have minor fails, but those minors add up and then can cause a general fail. Think of it in the same way with this, that minor errors in your presentation can add up, and eventually, if there's enough of them, can lead your work to fail. All for the want of some simple spell check and proofreading. Please make sure you correct anything which your word processing program captures. If your word processing program has captured it, then chances are it is an error that needs to be corrected. You can use subheadings, and again, these are recommended, particularly given the earlier advice about summarising the issues, and using subheadings will let you group such things under a single banner. It helps you to structure your work and the grouping of the issues. Hopefully, all of this information has proved helpful to you in the preparation of your Task 1 attendance note. Thank you very much for watching and for listening, and I wish you the very best of luck with Task 1 of Unit 22 of Client Care. Look out for further videos where I'll be providing guidance and feedback on the other tasks in Client Care, and also in the Legal Research Skills module as well.